Hi, beautiful souls. It's Sadhana, and I'm here to play today with the decks of Siolo Thompson. I have recently received the Hedgewitch Botanical. I try to say that quickly multiple times. Hedgewitch. And this is Siolo's latest creation. This is a beautiful oracle plant-based deck that I have looked through it briefly. I have looked through the guidebook briefly. So there's no cello on the pack, but I'm just really excited to receive this. So I have a complete collection now of her three decks, the Linestrider Tarot, the Scrying Ink Lenormand, and now I have the Hedgewitch Botanical. So I thought I would do a walkthrough of the Hedgewitch in case you don't have this deck, and then I would have a look at all of her three decks together. So like the Linestrider published by Llewellyn, it comes in a magnetic box with this beautiful guidebook. It is about the same size as the Linestrider guidebook. Really nice quality, well bound. And then the cards are within the box. These are the backs of the cards. Siolo in the guidebook says these are not reversible. Somehow they are different in one direction than the other, and I have not figured that out yet. So this is the box. Just beautiful. Wisdom from the Boundary Lands. Let the spirits of the plants be your allies and friends. This gracefully illustrated deck will support you with insights gleaned from traditional herb lore, providing guidance and perspective from the thin places between one world and another. Designed to awaken your natural intuition, this collection of 40 elegant botanical cards from the creator of the Linestrider Tarot draws inspiration from healers and helpers who work in the mysterious realms of wilderness and spirit. This deck is going to look amazing with any fairy deck. It'll look great with Linestrider. It'll stand alone as an oracle deck. It really is beautiful. On each of the cards, you have the common name, the Latin name, and then the keyword. The guidebook is in alphabetical order by the common name that's listed on the card. Siolo has also listed other common names for each of the plants. Myself, I know this plant is kinnikinnick. Just to give you an example, if I go to the bearberry first page, the other common names are Douglasberry, kinnikinnick, alpine bearberry, mountain bearberry, and black bearberry. And bearberry refers to the fact that it is a favorite food of the bears, and hence the keyword strength. Color is added to berries, flowers, occasionally, to the leaves, some of the leaves, just beautiful balance of white space and color. The borage flower here is just beautiful, borage. Burdock, tenacity. The keywords are explained in the guidebook. The medicine of the plant is described, as well as the relationship to the tarot. And you will find that really interesting if you're planning on using these as oracle cards and together with the Linestrider Tarot or with another fairy deck. They will be amazing. Calendula. Looks so nice next to a sun card. Cattail. Chamomile. I would just like to pause and address the word hedgewitch if it's a term that you're not familiar with. Very well explained in the guidebook. The history explored in this project is most often one that involves women and other disenfranchised folk finding ways to care for each other. Patriarchal systems and puritanical societies have dominated medicine for centuries. Female/queer bodies have suffered, been neglected, and declared hysterical and aberrant. And always at the fringes there have been healers, witches, midwives, herbalists, and shamans who channel the power of nature and seek to heal those in need. The word hedge witch describes a person who lives outside of normal society. In very practical terms, these were often women living beyond the hedges or walls of a city because they were not welcome within. The term also describes the plant gathering practices of witches, healers, and shaman who foraged in the hedges at the edges of cultivated fields, as well as deep in the woods, wilds, and along shorelines. The lore surrounding these people also includes hedge riding, the practice of venturing into the ethereal or leaving the body physical realm. Flying ointments made from plants and psychotropic properties such as foxglove, brugmansia, and various nightshades were created to aid the hedge rider in their quest to pierce the veil and travel into the unknown. She continues on. It's just a fascinating read, not only in the introduction, but for each of the plants as well. Just a wealth of information. Especially if you're interested in the more esoteric side of the plants and the medicine of the plants. If you're a fan of Outlander or perhaps Merlin or other series where there is someone who is doing exactly this, living on the edge and dispensing plant medicine, you'll really relate to these cards and this guidebook. Dandelion, humility. Daylily. This is the key word refers to its short life. Dogwood. Abundant where I live, just beautiful in the early summer. Elder. Her drawings will make it very easy if you're not familiar with the plant if you're going out foraging and to locate plants. She also talks about foraging and recommends finding an expert so that you can safely learn how to forage and which parts of the plants to take and how much of a plant to take. Foxglove. So many of these grow like weeds and are underappreciated, underutilized in our culture. I'm not familiar with this one. It's called Ghost Pipe. I've also noticed, I did a quick reference check to the Druid Plant Oracle, and perhaps it was to the Pythia Botanical or one of her Oracle decks, just to kind of see what the crossover was. And there's quite a variety of plants that don't exist in either of those two decks. There is some crossover. So we can look in a future video at how the keywords vary between the same plant in different decks. Hawthorn is sacred. Golden poppy is dream. Hollyhock. The huckleberries where I live are not this purple color. They look, they're more red. Indigo. Juniper. Lady's mantle. Marshmallow. Morel. This is so pretty, and I can just see this in a reading with a fairy deck. And I may use this deck with the Mystic Fairy Tarot, which I just did a walkthrough of. I've just started using. These cards would look so pretty with that deck. The coloring. Maybe I'll show you at the end of this video. Tribulation is for nettle. That's a good word. I just want to say ouch when I see nettle. Pine. Plantain. Rowan. I'm just going to look for another name for rowan. I'm not familiar with what that is. So again, the guidebook, they're not numbered, but the guidebook is easy to reference because it is in alphabetical order. Okay, so rowan is also known as, oh, mountain ash. Okay, that's what I know it as. Serviceberry, service tree, mountain ash, quicken tree, birdberry, and witty pear. Sage. Salal. Very abundant in this part of the world. Samphire. Just going to the book for this one too. Samphire is known as glasswort, sampan, sea beans, sea asparagus, and sea fennel. Okay, so sea asparagus, I know that is. Makes a really lovely salad. St. John's wort. Strawberry. Trout lily. Violet. Wild rose. And wormwood. Caution. Sorry, wormwood. Not wormwood. Wormwood. Caution. So let's have a look at the guidebook for Wild Rose Clarity. And I'll show you the pages. All right, so here we have Wild Rose. The keyword is clarity. You have the Latin name, and then you have a variety of names that the plant is known by: Arctic rose, prickly wild rose, bristly rose, and dog rose. Wild rose is a delightful plant that adorns and perfumes liminal places across the world. Almost anywhere you travel, some member of this plant family will greet you, from the Arctic to the seaside, even in the desert. On my summer hikes, I am often delighted by great outcroppings of wild rose bushes, festooned with birds and butterflies. The fragrant petals of the rose are edible and are used for their antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, and antiviral properties. They can be dried and made into tea. This flower also has many other culinary applications and can be added to desserts, syrups, and candies. The fragrant rose oil is used to make infusions, ointments, and cosmetic products. Rose hips, the seed-containing fruit of the plant, yields a large amount of vitamin C when fresh. Dried rose hips are used to treat stomach disorders, stomach spasms, stomach acid deficiency, soothe irritation and ulcers, and as a tonic for intestinal diseases. So the first part is about the plant, and then we here have the bit about the oracle. So the oracle property, clarity, is inspired by the use of rose as a cleansing and focusing tonic of all sorts. Almost any herbal detoxing remedy will list rose as a primary ingredient. Hence the wild rose cleanse, which is a popular cleanse that's been around for many years. Many people who seek out this plant for its detoxification qualities are seeking a new lifestyle, the breaking of unwanted habits, and a clearer, cleaner perspective on life. I'm not going to read all of this. There's just so much yummy information. Then we have a close-up of the rose hips. Is this what's on the card? No, that's not. She lists other names here as well. And then we have the oracle property. There was no mention of the tarot for this plant, and the ones that I had already previewed did have a mention of the tarot. Okay, let's have a look at hawthorn, also known as May, May blossoms, May thorn, quick thorn, white thorn, mother die, haw. So the fruit is called haws and are edible raw and are also made into jellies, jams, and syrups. So again, we have information about the plant and how to use the plant. And then she's got some detailed information here about making hedgerow jelly. Hawthorn is the tree of Beltane, a holiday celebrated on the 1st of May, and a time when it is said that the seen and unseen worlds meet. Hawthorn plays a strong role in many folkloric traditions and is considered a tree sacred to the fairies, as well as being the wood of choice for a witch's broom. There are many historical accounts of artistic depictions of the fairy queen emerging from a hawthorn bush. So much interesting information just in itself. This guidebook is worth the value of the deck. And then, as I mentioned, she does refer to the tarot quite a bit in the book. The tarot's magician and high priestess are very reminiscent of this plant, as they too stand at the threshold between worlds and marshal strength and power from both the seen and the unseen realms. And the oracle property is sacred. So this is just a lovely, lovely guidebook. Really interesting to read, well written. And at the back of the book, she has recipes organized by season. Yeah, just really, like I said, I'm so excited to have this complete collection in my hands now. Okay, so let's have a look at all three decks, just how they kind of look together. This is the Oracle, the Tarot, and here is the Lenormand Deck. So the Oracle and the Tarot have lots of white space around the image in the center, and then the Lenormand Deck has a darker wash over all of the cards. So some of them are whiter than others, but there is this watercolor wash over most of them. So if you look at the Whip and the Broom, it just fits perfectly with the other two decks. But some of them have a darker color, like the Stars. So yeah, this is the Lenormand Deck. And it is called the Scrying Ink Lenormand. So let's pull a few cards and we'll just see what they look like together. Oh, they look so beautiful together. This is really, really special. This is the first time I've laid them out on the table and just had a look at how they talk to each other. So if you have really, really big hands, for sure you could mix together the Oracle cards with the Linestrider. They all come with really great guidebooks. There's a Linestrider guidebook. Here's the Hedgewitch's field guide. And the guidebook for her Lenormand is, I don't know if it's, I think it might be self-published. It's by Bay and Willow. So it's a thinner, staple bound, a different quality of guidebook. And there's no images inside the Lenormand guidebook. But if you read Lenormand, you don't really need a guidebook. And I said I would show you what it looks like next to the Mystic Fairy because I have a feeling the colorations are going to be just perfect with this fairy deck. So there you go. There is the Mystic Fairy next to the Hedgewitch. So that's a really beautiful combination. I hope you enjoyed this look through the Hedgewitch's Botanical Oracle, and I will see you soon. Stay well. Namaste.